the All Black assistant coach, who has just been put on hold at the moment. Greg Feek, welcome to the show, mate. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Is it normal, and if it is normal, just please explain, so just to fly out a couple of days before this, was there any thought of going to Melbourne earlier than we're going?
Well, it actually suits with what we have coming up with the World Cup. It's going to be similar. And a lot of teams do it in Europe, and I think in Super Rugby as well. So, just do your prep in New Zealand before you go. I think it's good. And sometimes changes, it's good for us. It keeps us on our toes, and we're a bit more efficient in what we do.
Greg, you're the scrum coach. I want to go straight to where you're good at, mate, and what you know about, which is the front row. Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, Tyrell Lomax. Can we read into this that is our number 1, 2 and 3?
Well, definitely for this week. Once you've got that jersey, it's to keep it. But we want the other boys knocking on the door, and putting pressure on them so that when they get an opportunity, they can kind of claim it, I suppose. And that's what's exciting about this group, or for the last 12 months, has been, if you guys have seen it, they're training, pushing each other and those sort of things. So, to answer your question, it's for this week, and then, get them on their toes, mate,
How pleased were you with those guys against South Africa?
Oh, I was probably nearly super happy.
Woo!
If that makes sense. And, nearly.
Tell you what, that's not a bad score. Nearly super happy, that's pretty good.
And you've got to give some credit to the boys for some of the things that we did. And then there's a couple of moments where we didn't get quite right, which I think at the time doesn't give you a good feeling. It's not our standard. But if we can learn and grow from that, then hopefully that'll serve us well. And again, Springboks, it's such a good test to see where you're at. Well,
that was going to be my next question, Greg. Yeah, I mean, are they, you where do you consider them in terms of opponents, especially in the front row? Because, I mean, please, I'm asking questions here, and to be honest, none of us fans know anything about what happens in there. You do.
Yeah, well, the thing with the Springboks is, it's about size, but I don't really, I mean, our boys are big too. So I don't look at size anymore as a factor. It's about the collective. It's about individuals getting their roles right. But what the South Africans bring is a different style that they're probably not we don't get in Super Rugby anymore, And so having that now and getting those little different tests of where we're at is gold. And the boys love it too. They love coming against something different ways of doing things. And they just got a slightly unorthodox, but it's very effective for how they've done it for a long time, So
I tell you, I know this sounds weird, but I'd love to be sitting next to you during a game, because I'd just like to look at you and see what you're looking at and what excites you about it. So let me put some words or thoughts into your mind. When you see a really stable platform and those boys are low to the ground, that scrum's not moving an inch, is that what you get your kicks from?
Well, that's the standard requirement, to be fair. I'd get my kicks from going forward and the referee sticking his arm out.
Go on.
There's times where you actually do want to play off it, because once you've established that, then we become a team that can pull the trigger either way, play off it quickly or do that. It's exciting because we've got a backline that can, as you saw, they can ignite pretty quickly, So that's where we're at, yeah.
Even in today's modern rugby, how important is what that scrum does?
Oh, look, I think, now being biased, but I mean, if you saw, what happened in the last World Cup, and sometimes, so with South Africa, but for me, it's like every part of the game has got to have its ability to change the game when needed. And whether it's a maul try, whether it's a massive defensive set, or if it's a scrum, either way. And if you've got all those areas of the game where you can turn the screw when you need to, and that's where we'd like to be at, is, being able to have a forward pack or a scrum that can do that when required, when the captain says, hey, look, we need one here, then we can do it, You're going to be overdoing it, but that's probably where
So is that a real triumph in a test match when we get a penalty or we get in a position on the field where our guys go, right, we're going to call a scrum? That means that that is big, is it?
Well, they're saying like we can get the ball out. Well, they're saying we want to have a crack at them, and there's different tactics around that, and that's up to the players and how they feel, what the feel is out there, what's happening on the scoreboard, time of the game, and even maybe the situation with the opposition, say if they're a man down or whatever, So there's a few things that you sort of calculate to make a decision on it. But the beauty about when you get given a penalty or you've got a little bit of time to discuss that as well,
Greg Feek is with us, All Blacks assistant coach. How many of these do you put down in practice when you're preparing for a test match like this? Can I have a guess? I could say it'd be well over 2 or 3, or maybe I'm going to say well over 300 when you're training scrums to get ready for a test. Would it be more than that?
300? Oh, hell no. Probably, this in the whole week we've probably done 8.
Wow. Shite.
In a week,
really?
Yeah.
I thought you might do 50 at a training or something.
Yeah, no. They're gone to those days, mate. That's hell no.
All right.
Not with the amount of, I mean, that's where you want to get quality. And when you do get that quality, you can get so much learning and no collapses, and the boys can feel the learning in it too, So it's definitely, and to get to that point of 8 really good ones throughout the whole week, then you need to have your right process. The individuals need to be, they need to be really on mentally as well, So, but these All Blacks, they can do that. That's why they're professionals, and it's a privilege to be able to work with guys that can actually have the ability to put that together and get the quality,
Greg, explain to us, please. So Offa comes back. Has Tamaiti done anything wrong, or is he injured, or what?
No, he's done nothing wrong, and I thought he did a good job for his first test. Mount Smart, he gets a scrum penalty, first scrum. I was really impressed with his focus and his ability to, played tight end a lot in the Super Rugby. Near the end there, then switched over back to loose head. For a young kid, it's pretty impressive. Like I said, some of these boys that come in, they can just, the fact they can just plug in and get on with it, and adapt to the international scene just shows also their development has been on the right path too. And with Offa, he's got a lot of experience. He didn't do anything wrong with RG, and that was, for this week, was the right fit.
Was there a lot of discussion around that, around leaving Tamaiti in?
Well, there's discussions on a few positions and guys knocking on the door, and there's definitely discussions around it. I wasn't in all of those, to be fair, and my job is really to get all these boys up to a point where they can knock on the door for selection, and Tamaiti came in, had an opportunity, and now he's caused a little bit of a ripple, like a little tremor for selectors, so that's great.
Couple more questions, we'll let you go, and I thank you so much for your time, mate. All right, so how far away is Fletcher?
Fletcher, if he was about to walk through the door's open, so, and he's basically been held back, and he should be good to go for next week, available. So,
Brilliant.
And he's just bursting at the bit, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
He's trained really well. But we'll just depend on how the boys go this week, and then how that fits. But he got through a whole week of training and no issues. So, it's on me, mate. It's exciting times when you've got all this talent and depth and competition, and then also the key is our performance in the weekend. So that's still our main focus, I suppose.
Go get it, mate. What are you expecting from the Wallabies just finally?
Oh, they picked a big forward pack, same, starting in on the bench. I think it's going to be a classic, it'll be a classic Bledisloe. There'll be physicality, there'll be push and shove, there'll be huge moments. Hopefully most of those moments are ours. I don't normally use hopefully because there will be hours, and the players will be absolutely exhausted at the end of it. That's probably a quick summary.
Oh, I can't wait. Looking forward to it a bit like you are as well. Thank you so much for joining us from the airport, mate. Appreciate it, Greg.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Nice talking to you. Greg Feek, All Blacks assistant coach, scrum coach, as a matter of fact there, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Don't often get a chance to talk to somebody whose job is just completely and utterly about that, about the front row. Hopefully I asked as many questions as you wanted to hear the answers to, and hopefully didn't come across like I know nothing about it, because to be perfectly honest, I mean, look at me. For God's sake, how much do I know about scrumming, mate?